So welcome back to another series of e-commerce agency wisdom brought to you by e-commerce partnerships. I'm the founder of e-commerce partnerships and e-commerce agency growth. And today we're going to be speaking with Mike, who's the founder of Dapper Consulting. He's one of the coaches in my private agency communities with specializing in all things delivery, project management, production, like all that stuff is Mike's area of expertise. And last time we talked about integrating that relationship between sales and delivery. And this one, we're going to be focused on a massive pain point that I see over and over and over again when it comes to promoting people up into management positions. So it maybe you could kind of share some of the common issues that you see in that process that agencies are having.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to. And a lot of this started out coming from personal experience, both in my first move into management and sort of what I wish I knew. And then when I promoted people into management underneath me, what I did wrong there. I think that was one of my worst mistakes I think I've made as a professional, was the first time I moved somebody into management under me. When I first moved into management, I think like most people do, they have this vision that getting promoted into management is just your natural career path. You're on one ladder and you're moving up that ladder. All the skills that I used as a project manager would greately benefit me and would be a continuation as I moved up into managing that team of project managers and being more involved in company leadership and all that good kind of stuff. And that is completely wrong. And I think it's something that leaders need to prepare potential managers for, is understanding that it is not moving into management from a contributor is not moving up a ladder. It's jumping to a completely different ladder. I've taken that from Michael Lopp book. So don't give me quote that one is taken there from Michael Lopp. But it's a very different mindset when you're moving into management. Now, all of a sudden, you really have to deal a lot more with people and interpersonal conflicts. Your goals, as a project manager, say, for example, you were judged on how well your projects were doing. Are you hitting your, revenue goals within your projects? Are you hitting your time? Like, they're very concrete kind of things to tell you whether or not you're doing good or bad. And in management, that gets just a lot more fuzzy. You're dealing with people's emotions. You're dealing with angry clients. Like that's a thing that I didn't realize how much would be like, oh, all of my client contact now is escalating to the people who are angry. And so getting ready for that, I think, was a thing that I didn't understand, and so had a hard time moving into management and changing that mindset. Whereas if I think I had some leadership that helped me along the way, that transition would have been potentially smoother. Not to say that it was bad by any means, but it was a big mindset that took a lot of time to change, especially without someone telling me, hey, this is a totally different career path now. The biggest mistake that I've made professionally was when I moved somebody up, where I kind of made the same mistake. I didn't share properly kind of what that change would be. And I did something that I see a lot of agencies do, and they do it out of almost desperation, which is where they'll move a person into management part-time. So we'll have a project manager or an engineer, and we'll move that person and we'll keep them doing half of their work as a contributor and half of their work as a manager. And this is gonna fail. And that's where my failure happened, was in not recognizing how quickly burnout happens when you have someone trying to play both roles. It's a very different mindset from a contributor to a manager. The cognitive load of trying to do both, say manage projects on the ground and manage then a full team who's doing what you're trying to do part-time, the ways that you have to think are just too incredibly taxing. You're dealing with as much management crap as any other manager is, and now you've got this like actual concrete day-to-day thing you need to keep doing. So if there's any advice I can give to folks out there, agency owners who are promoting from within, which is great, I definitely encourage you to promote from within, but don't make that mistake of thinking like, oh, we just can't afford to move this person off of billable time completely. you have to move them off of billable time completely, or like you're not ready yet for a full-time manager. If you do really need a manager, but you can only afford something part-time, that's when I might look at bringing in someone outside in like a fractional basis, who with the intent that they are maybe coaching or training or doing so, that person who might eventually fulfill that role. But I just highly discourage anyone from doing that hybrid manager like actual contributor role, because I've yet to see it work for more than a couple months before everything really starts to break down.